from Rutgers, home of the Fat Cat sandwiches, Max Melton. Yeah, I gotta say real quick, because we try to do these little short videos here for you guys on every player we talk about here, and I get a lot of these off different GIF sites, try to keep it nothing crazy so we don't get sued for copyright infringement or taking video from a telecast or something. Kudos to Rutgers, by the way, because Max has, I think, the longest of all the video intros because they made really, really long GIFs for some reason for him, but not so kudos because really that's the best you can do. Him slow turning around with the phone in his hand. Like that's the best you can do. Like we've had some interesting ones. We had one with a Chucky head doll in his hand. We've had guys yelling at the camera. Like the best you can do is him, and like that's the best you can do is him turning around slowly. They got like most of these guys have like a 7 or 9 second thing. He's got a 21 second one. That's because they just did slow mo with him. Anyway, Max Melton here. Like I said, out of Rutgers, 6 foot even, 190 pounds. Again, we got these tiny guys here. It's like there's something about these tiny guys here. 21 years old, so decent age there wise. In 12 games, 33 tackles, 2 tackles for loss. 2 interceptions, 10 passes deflected, and a fumble recovery. In 12 games, 32 tackles, 4 tackles for loss, 1 sack, 3 interceptions, 6 passes deflected, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery, and a 73.1 PFF grade. Another guy that on the outside primarily there, looking at the 60 spots in the slot there, 487 at the outside corner. So this has been an outside heavy draft so far for us here. We do have a couple slot guys, I promise you guys. As far as the pros and cons here, pros hard to shake. That's a good thing, by the way, in a corner. If you can't guess, like he's got that glue mentality. He's also got some pretty good hands, and that's twofold. That's in coverage wise, meaning that he's good at his punch at that point. He's also good at getting his hand up at that point when the ball's in the air. That's why he's got a lot of pass deflections there. But he's also got good hands as far as interceptions as well. He's got 5 interceptions the last 2 years at Rutgers in 24 games. Again, keep in mind, 24 games in the NFL is like a season and a half. So it's not a bad ratio there. As far as his cons, technique issues. He needs to get his head around as well. Sometimes the ball gets thrown and he just throws up his hands, or he doesn't even realize sometimes the ball is being thrown. It's like because he's following the eyes of the actual receiver instead of looking back to see what's going on there. And he's good as far as his hands overall within the first 5, but he doesn't have that strength you want to have in that jam if you're going to put him into a man coverage kind of spot. He's got a pretty weak jam. But he is best in zone, so I think whoever drafts him is going to pop him in zone, and it's not going to be too much of an issue, that part of it there. But I got to at least point it out there. But the technique issues is the big thing. I really think this is a guy that goes round 3, and he becomes kind of a project guy that you start as a CB2, and you hope can develop into a CB1 kind of guy. But he's going to have that high ceiling, low floor, I think. Because if he doesn't improve those technique issues, he's going to end up being a dime nickel guy. And you're going to draft him in the 3rd round. And you probably prefer to get a guy like that there on day 3 as opposed to day 2. So, but he's worth the risk. He's worth the risk.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Two Giant Goofballs, a New York Giants podcast. We appreciate your support.
Thanks so much.